Hey, welcome to Geography 301, Geography of Western Europe. My name is Jeff DeGrave. I'll be your professor for this class. This is a new-ish online course. It hasn't been taught in a long, long time, since probably the early aughts, so this will be new and exciting. I just want to introduce myself, give you a little background on the class, and for many of you this is your first geography course, so I'll give you a little bit of hopefully relief about that, and give you just a bit of a highlight toward what we're going to talk about all semester. So, again, my name is Jeff DeGrave. I've lived in Europe before. I lived in London working as a bartender in a Brazilian nightclub. I know that sounds a little strange, but that's what happened right after college, actually. I also moved back to Europe in the mid-90s and lived in Madrid for a while to work on my Spanish, basically. So I'm familiar with Europe. I've traveled to most countries in Europe. I haven't been to Scandinavia. Too expensive, need a lot of dough for that. But I have been to other obscure places like Malta and Albania and a couple others that maybe are a little bit off the radar. So I'm pretty familiar with Europe. My first trip abroad in my life was to Paris, France. So a little shout out to the Parisians. See, I have my Germany soccer jersey on. I like soccer. I like the World Cup, the Euro Cup, all that good stuff. And I am regularly a leader on the Central European Travel Seminar SETS program, and we'll be looking for students to go this upcoming summer. So please let me know if you are interested in traveling for a month in Europe. Always a great, great, great trip. This is where I got this shirt from, representing Germany, obviously. Let's see, a couple things about geography. If you've never taken a geography class before, no worries, no problem. Geography is a very comprehensive and inclusive type of field of study. So if you're into politics, no problem. We'll talk about politics. If you're into economics, we'll talk about economics. If you like history, we'll do history. Like women's issues, we'll talk about women's issues. If you like anything, I'm sure we'll talk about it to at least one degree or another this semester. So don't worry about that. Geography, anything you study can be looked at geographically. It's more of a looking at something from a spatial point of view. The interaction between places and people is what geography is. And so again, you don't have to worry about it if you've never taken a geography course. You'll probably view it from whatever lens you study, like biology or chemistry or whatever. Let's see, about Europe. If you've never been to Western Europe before, no worries. There's no prerequisite that you must have traveled. Certainly it helps, right? If you've been to, I don't know, maybe Portugal, and you know that Portugal means port of the Gauls. Like, ooh, I think that's going to help. It's a port. It must be on the ocean, right? So certainly having some experience in Europe, and maybe as we talk through the semester, it'll give you flashbacks to when you were in Europe. Say, oh yeah, I remember, running around in Sweden, whatever. So that will be helpful in that way. But if you have no prior knowledge, no prior experience in Europe, no worries. Related. If you don't speak another language other than English, no big deal either. Again, certain words it'll be helpful if you do speak, another language, because sometimes place names refer to the local geography or geographic setting, right? Like Amsterdam. Like, I'll bet there's a dam in Amsterdam, right? And it is a dam along the Amstel River. So that's helpful, but it's, again, not going to make or break your semester. So that's really about all I can think of. Most of us are pretty familiar with Western Europe. Much of the U.S. educational tradition, political tradition, economic tradition, everything, right, comes from the Greeks and the Romans. We'll be talking about the Greeks and the Romans and their influences on Western Europe as well. So if there's any part of the world, if you've never been to, and you're now taking a class in it for the very first time, probably Western Europe is a great place to start. So, speaking of starting, that's it. I'll introduce each of the different larger sections of the course on video, and certainly if you need anything throughout the semester, please don't be shy. I am a human being, as you can see. I'm not a robot. You can come into my office. My office hours are posted on the syllabus, and I try to keep my office open and available to anyone, and also related to that, if you're having any troubles, not only with this class, but with another class, with your life, with your roommate, with your family, with who knows what, with the law, I will gladly help you. I'm not a legal expert, but I will gladly help you in any way I can. So please just stop in. we'll talk, and you have to have your real life sorted out before you can address your student life. So I view every single student of mine a person first, student second. So your people part of your life must be in order to be a successful student, and that's the goal for you and for me. So anyhow, I look forward to a great semester, and we'll virtually see you for the next 15 weeks.